My relationship with Steinway goes way back, even before I was born. The history, just to give you a brief in a nutshell. My parents came here from war-torn Europe. Post-World War II, they were displaced persons because they lost their country of Poland. So they were refugees. My mother was taken for hard labor in Germany. Yes, she was a slave at the age of 14. Her entire family was killed. My grandmother died in a concentration camp in Ravensbrück. Yes. My grandfather was killed because right when the Germans entered Poland in 1939, because right away he took up arms to defend the country. So they never saw him again. So the whole family from my mother's side was gone. My mother was the only survivor. My father was in Poland during the entire war as a child, and he, as an 11-year-old boy, was a courier in the underground. Although this was not permissible at the time, he was at the Warsaw Uprising. So he saw what happened to Warsaw when Hitler leveled Warsaw. So they were both displaced persons. They came to Germany, for hard labor, and then once the war was over, they stayed there for a few years. Educated themselves, and they didn't know each other. They met in this country. They came here in 1951. My father was a musician, and so, of course, they were trying to establish themselves here in this country. So one of the priorities was to get a piano. My father had studied with Alexander Borowski here, and Alfred Mirovich from the Boston Conservatory. So that legacy, it has been passed on to me. Before they bought a house, before they bought a car, they bought a Steinway. So he bought a rebuilt 1926 Steinway from M. Steinway & Sons. And that was the piano that I grew up with. Isn't that something? Very special legacy here. So having had that privilege, because it is truly a privilege to grow up with that instrument, I like to share the joy of this incredible instrument with my students and with anyone that I possibly can, with young artists, to give them the opportunities to experience playing on this magnificent instrument. I've been very blessed, very privileged to be mentored and educated and guided by such great artists. So now I feel so strongly that it is my responsibility. I have a duty to young people to pass that on to them, that great legacy. So this is why I, as an artist, feel it is imperative for me to be an educator.